if you were young and you decided that you'd like to buy a house, do you know what to do to buy your first house? Well, if you don't, you really want to listen today, because Debra Currier, who is a realtor as well as a broker, is in the studio with me, and she is from Lepage ProAlliance Realty. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to find out more about what, just been so many changes over the years. Like, I haven't bought another house, you know.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, there are a lot of changes that are out there.
Right.
And so if we can help these people, let's do it. So what's the very, very first thing that a person should do if they're buying a new home?
Well, if you're buying a new home, I would really strongly encourage to find a realtor right away, someone that you can work with and someone that you trust, a trusted professional to navigate you through the process. Because you're right, there have been a lot of changes that have taken place and it's hard to keep up with it. And not everybody's a flipper. Not everyone, has that experience where they buy houses every day.
Yes,
so
yes.
I really think you need to rely on the expertise of a realtor.
Okay. And if they feel that they just kind of like don't, the realtor that they're with, they just don't seem to see what their vision, should they change?
Absolutely. Listen, I always say listen to your inner voice. We all have intuition. We just don't listen to it sometimes.
Yes.
So listen to your guts. You really need to connect with somebody because that person is going to be guiding you through on the biggest purchase of your life, right? Especially if you're first-time home buyers. You want to have that connection and someone that will listen to you, really listen to what your needs and wants are, and will guide you through that process. I always say it's a little bit of hand-holding, but I think that's great because you want to have that relationship where they listen to you and you listen to them.
Well, it's trust both ways.
Exactly.
And if you have someone that you don't really trust and you feel that they're not listening to you, then don't stay with them.
We're all differently. We all have different personalities. So I think you really need to gel with someone that you feel comfortable with and trust. And that's the thing. There has to be a basis of trust. Right. And once you find that person, then that's when your journey begins. Because it's a journey for both of us. It's a journey I take it to heart too. And I want to make sure that I'm working for my people and that they are very happy with my services as well. So we take this journey together.
Yes. Okay, so in Canada, is there a regulated percentage rate that you have to have for a down payment on property?
It's still, my understanding is it's 5%.
Okay.
I always say that's where I always encourage the pre-approval. And when I am committed to working with a couple, or a person, doesn't matter. I always say, let's get to a lender, your trusted lender, or if they don't, I can suggest a mortgage broker that they can work with. It shows seriousness on their part, a commitment that they want to do things the right way, and they want to get the education that they need.
Yes.
So it can be 5%, 10%. I mean, commercial is different than residential, right? But they do have to have a certain amount a down payment saved. So it's really good to start ahead of time, even to get that pre-approval, to find replace, or there's just tons of things that are unforeseen. So don't strap yourself to the point where you're house poor.
Right.
There's more to life than that as well, right? So you have to be responsible and know your budget. When we're house hunting, we're looking at exactly what a house needs. What would you change, or needs versus wants, right? Is it something you can live with for 5 years? when we're house shopping,
Yes,
you know.
yes.
So when they are pre-qualified, they know that amount, then they can kind of foresee the future, you know, what that's going to look like to them, how long they envision themselves living. Is it a starter home, 5 to 10, you know, 5-year period, or is this a house that, yes, we're going to be here for 20 years? So in that case, you know, when we're doing budgets, we do work with budgets. We always want you to know the utility costs. And when you're qualifying, you're pre-qualifying, the tax amount comes into play. That goes against your borrowing power too. So there's all kinds of things as far as budgets that we have to sit down and go over. Utility costs, what it costs to run that home. Do you see any immediate renovations? There's things that have to be done. If that roof is, you know, is failing, or you know it has a year life.
Yeah,
it's been worked into the purchase price.
Exactly.
However, you know that you need to have a roof over, you know, a roof that doesn't leak over your head.
Right.
Then you have to budget accordingly. So you'll work all that out with your lender and your realtor as well.
Do you have a guide that
I
you
do. Yeah.
Okay. So
on my website, I have you know, a little. I just printed it out quickly for today, but a guide to being a first-time home buyer, and it just breaks things down in kind of a sequence that we have to go by, like a step-by-step. And like I said, first step I always do is find your realtor.
Yes.
And get that working relationship, and let's get together in person. I'm always old school that way. Let's get together in person and make that connection. And hopefully I'll be your choice and we can work together. And then I'm going to guide you to your lender and say, okay, you need to get a pre-approval first and foremost. It shows seriousness on your part. And then you're not wasting anybody's time either. Like, you're not going into homes that you're not qualified to buy.
Right.
And all I need is that magic number, as I said in my first series, just that magic number. And then we start looking in an appropriate range that you qualify for. So, and then there's a lot of needs versus wants that we have to rule out. Okay, it would be great to have that double car garage, but maybe it's not in that price category that you're qualified for. Right. So let's be realistic. We have to be realistic. So that pre-approval does all of that. It makes you realistic, and it shows seriousness to your real estate agent and those potential sellers that you are pre-qualified. Now, having said that, it doesn't mean when you find that house and you're doing your offer, you don't need that condition of financing. People mistake that pre-qualified for being firmly qualified.
Okay.
The bank wants to know that you do have a house. They want to see that agreement of purchase and sale. They want to know that the value is in that home that you've offered on. Okay, so let's not make that. It's just a pre-qualification, but it gives you the budget range, right, that you qualify for. And once you get that, then we do start searching for homes, and that becomes a truly exciting part of our journey.
Yes. So is this available on your website?
It is.
Your website is?
So my DebraLynnCurrier.com, and I have, I'll have that loaded up for you, and you can click on that link and go through that. So
I like that. Thank you for sitting down with me. You're a wealth of information.
Oh, my
you really
goodness.
are.
My goodness.
I love it. Okay, so thank you.